Digital Content Creators presents the Networking Roundtable Discussion.
Okay, guys, let's get started. So thank you for being on time for our second Digital Content Creators free networking roundtable. We are going to start off, just like we did last time, presenting our interactive slide deck presentation called Mentimeter. So the first thing I want everyone to do is, if you have your phone next to you, I want you to get your phones out and be ready to scan a QR code. If you don't have your phone nearby, do not worry. You can also enter the interactive presentation using your browser, which I'll show you how to do now. So let me just share my screen. Okay, so you can see here, guys, you should be able to see that you can scan like so. I'm going to do the same thing right now. I'm going to enter. So you scan on your phone with your camera, and it will take you to the interactive presentation. And then if you do the thumbs up, that tells me, so I just did a thumbs up, and that tells me that you're inside and you're, okay, get a few more thumbs up. There we go. We've got loads of you coming in already. Fantastic. 6. Okay. And for those of you who don't have your phone, no worries. What we're going to do, we're going to go to menti.com. Menti.com, like so. And we're going to put in the code 1331 7481. And then we're going to join. There we go. And I'm going to give the thumbs up. Okay, so that's how everyone can participate. If you can't get into Menti for some reason, do not worry. Just participate in the Zoom chat. Okay, fantastic. So we've got 15 of you already. Okay, going to move on. Guys, at any moment during the presentation, you can always come back in. You can scan the QR code. That'll be, you'll see it on all the slides. And also you'll see at the top, the code to menti.com. Okay, let's go to the topic of today's roundtable: navigating IP and AI, what authors and coaches need to know about the pirates of Silicon Valley. So let's test this mechanic, guys, for the interactive presentation. I know we've got someone from Jacksonville, Florida already, because they said in the chat. So where are you joining from? Let's see from which parts of the world. The Philippines.
Nice.
Fantastic. Prospect, KY. Missouri, New York. Ecuador, wow. Boulder, Colorado, I know that one.
That's pretty cool.
New Jersey. Northern California. My brother just moved yesterday to California. I'll be visiting soon. Okay, Florida. Okay, awesome. Yeah, all over the States, but all over the world. We've got Ecuador and the Philippines representing. That's fantastic. Okay, so because we're talking about AI today, I want you to tell me how much do you use AI at the moment today? I don't use AI. I use AI somewhat, or I use AI all the time, just so we can get an idea of, wow, okay, it's quite heavily skewed towards I use AI all the time. Okay, we've got a tech savvy crowd. Okay. Fantastic. Please, guys, please write in the chat as well. Okay, so let's meet your host. So the first person, the most important, the man himself, Jan or Jan Zucker. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I am the president of Digital Content Creators, and I created this little roundtable event so we can keep track of what's going on in AI and help each other through this huge change that's about to hit us all. And I will
Absolutely.
tell
Thanks,
you more
Evan.
about what we do for those who don't know when I get to doing a little pitch later on. So I'm warning you now. It won't be very heavy, and it'll be very interesting anyway.
Thanks, Jan. So my name's Evan, and I run these roundtables, and I also work with Jan on operations and marketing. Yeah, and so feel free to reach out to either me or Jan at any time if you want help with any of the stuff that we're talking about today. Christine.
Hi everyone, pleasure to meet you all. I'm Christine. I'm the product manager of digital content creators. Happy to be here. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm here to help. Thanks, Evan.
Thank you. And our guest speakers, we've got two incredible guest speakers today. Judy, please tell us who you are.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, depending on where you are. I'm Judy Weintraub. I'm CEO of a publishing firm called Skill Bites, primarily helping business owners get their books written and published. I also happen to be an attorney, although not specifically focused on IP, but I do know a fair amount about copyright law.
Fantastic, Judy. And David, but he told me that he prefers to be called Dave. So Dave, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dave Faux. I practice predominantly out of New York City in copyright and trademark law. My copyright work was founded in the theater industry, but I also work on photos, fiction, nonfiction, and I sometimes go through a slew of time where there's a number of poets who want me to copyright their work. I don't know quite why that happens in cycles. And I have publications with the American Bar Association and with the New York State Bar Association.
Thanks, Dave. Okay. The basics of copyright law. So this is where, Judy, can you give us just an overview?
Sure. Well, when you write a book and it's you doing the writing, you own the copyright to that. If you are using AI to write your book, then you don't own the copyright to it unless you make some level of modifications to what AI generates for you. Exactly how much you need to do, there's no bright line at this point. The more you do, the more likely it is that you own the copyright. But for instance, if you only change a word here or there, or 5%, 10% or whatever, you might not wind up owning the copyright. And the other thing to keep in mind is while you own the copyright, you don't have much opportunity to enforce your copyright interest unless you register that copyright with the Copyright Office. That's because if you win a case without having registered your copyright, you're going to spend more on the lawsuit than you would win in the judgment. But when you register your copyright interest, then you get statutory damages, which makes enforcement of your copyright interest more feasible. It's not that hard to actually register. You can fill the form out online. It's about a $65 fee. You send 2 copies of your paperback book into the Copyright Office and you'll get something back in the mail saying you're registered. If you don't have a paperback, if you only have an ebook, then you can send the ebook online with the form. But if you have a paperback, then you can't just send the ebook. So that's one area of copyright law. Another area that a lot of people are somewhat confused about is when you can use somebody else's material. If you want to quote something short, then you put it in quotes and you attribute where you got it. If you are, say, taking an entire poem or an entire set of lyrics or whatever, then you have to do more than just attribute it to the author or creator. You need to get their permission. So that's a big area, I think, for a lot of authors.
Fantastic, Judy. Really good stuff and really valuable information. So guys, $65 seems like a small price to pay, considering how expensive it could get. Copyright law and AI. So let's talk about that, Dave. Can you speak to it specifically with AI?
Yeah, well, artificial intelligence does not produce anything that's copyrightable, according to the Copyright Office right now, and most copyright offices throughout the world. The problem is that the definition of copyright is that it has to be an artistic original expression, fixed and tangible form, and there's case law saying that it has to be a fixed and tangible form by a human being. So if you ask a wide open question of AI, please produce a poem, and it produces a poem, it wasn't produced by a human, so it won't be able to get any copyright protection. The problem, of course, happens when a human author either inputs copyrightable material into AI, and part of that comes back in the AI's answer, or if the human uses something that they developed with the use of AI. Then we're in a complete gray area. But right now, the Copyright Office says if it's done by artificial intelligence, it's not copyrightable. If it's a combination of human and AI efforts, then please disclose that fact to us so we can decide what to do. They're still taking comments on their website from lawyers and industry leaders.
Awesome, thanks, Dave. And okay, let's talk about some of the dangers of AI now.
Well, just make a comment on that. So
please go ahead.
When you upload to Amazon right now, you have to disclose how much of your content is AI. And that's going to be more and more prevalent, I imagine, as more and more people create books with AI. They've also limited the number of books you now can produce, because people were putting up 5 or 6 books a day, just having, putting them out through AI and just uploading them. Just a piece of information.
Yeah, you also have to do that on Ingram Spark, not just Amazon.
Oh, really? I didn't see the one thing.
Yeah. These private companies need to get a handle on what their exposure might be, how much they can protect a copyright that's being sold on their platforms. So they want to know as soon as the Copyright Office comes to a conclusion, if ever, or our wonderful legislature in DC comes up with something, I think the private companies are still going to want to know how much is developed from AI.
So Dave, let me ask you a question. So does the Copyright Office make the decision, or will Congress make the decision?
Oh,
which is going to be the leader on this?
Well, the Copyright Office has the authority from Congress to make decisions at the sort of the regulatory case-by-case administrative level. But the problem of AI is so much broader than copyright. I think they're going to have to work hand in hand. When they come up, legislation on AI is probably not going to be only about copyright. It's going to be about privacy. Developing weapons of mass destruction is a big concern in the EU. So I think the legislature will be broader, and the Copyright Office, they're going to have to work together on somewhat.
I'm sure the deep fakes and all of that is going to be a problem as well, and how to notice, because some of the stuff I've seen lately, you can hardly tell the difference between what's a real thing and what something has been created.
Absolutely. And what type of IP protection is recommended, guys, for IP use? So for everyone on this call, mostly coaches, consultants, what kind of recommendations can we give them?
Is that, I mean, I can start. I mean,
please.
Judy talked about registration. Try to get your registration with the Copyright Office in before you start using AI with it. It'll be a draft form. It's $65, but if something happens, that's the cheapest insurance policy you've ever bought in your life. And then at least it's acknowledged that what you combined with your AI efforts there is a version of it that's protected by the federal government that's untouched by AI that you can rely on if some dispute arises.
Fantastic. Anything else to add, Judy? Or is that the main thing?
Well, you have to verify the information you're getting from AI. Sometimes AI comes up with false information, and if you use it, you could wind up in trouble. In fact, there was a lawyer who wound up getting fined because he cited a case that he got from AI that wasn't a legitimate case. And then, of course, the AI platforms that you use, you have to be concerned about whether the information that you put into those platforms to generate their responses is protected, because you have to read their terms of use to find out if they might wind up owning what you put in.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
this looks
fantastic.
like it's gonna have to be a recurring type of roundtable every so often, every 5 or 6 months, to update people on what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think let's see what happens in the next 5 years. We'll do one every year for 5 years. So are there any platforms that own the prompts I input as well as the output? So Dave, this is for you.
Yeah, so as Judy mentioned, sometimes the platforms will own the prompts that you input. How do they own it? Because you've agreed to their terms of use beforehand. I know Stability was called out for having in their terms of use that they will own, and by own, it might be a non-exclusive license, but it's a non-exclusive license that's worldwide in perpetuity for any use, including modification, distribution, derivative works. And they'll own that, they'll have that license for that prompt. I know a lawyer who's also a writer who was putting lyrics into OpenAI, and then somebody called him and said, "Hey, I just put a prompt into OpenAI for some lyrics, and I got some of your lyrics back." And that became quite a big dispute that he's still involved in. So yes, there are platforms. You have to read the terms of use or hire somebody to read them, because nobody likes to read them, and make sure that you know what you're potentially giving away.
Absolutely. Got to be careful, guys. Give your best ideas away. So let's have our first breakout room. We're going to put you into groups of 3s and 4s. And the question, which I'd like you all to discuss, guys, please mute yourself if you can when you're coming in.
Oh,
Please mute.
it's not network, it's your network.
That's fine. Which AI platforms have you been using recently, and how much of your content is AI generated? We're going to put you into groups of 3 or 4s. Please spend 2 minutes each discussing. Let everyone in the group participate and have a good time. So I'm just going to set up the groups right now. They're randomized, okay, guys? So I'm going to put groups of 3 or 4. There we go. And what I'll do,
How much time will each group have?
So I'm going to give everyone 9 minutes to discuss. Okay, 9 minutes. The question is also, guys, on your devices or on menti.com, so you can see the question that you need to discuss. I'll also tell you, I'll give you a warning, guys, when there's going to be a countdown timer, but I'll give you a warning when the rooms are going to close. All right, we're going to open the rooms now. Have a good time. Okay, Jan, I'll pause the recording.
Right on the website. And that gives you your copyright registration.
Fantastic.
Now,
Thanks,
you
Judy.
want to have a copyright page in your book.
Yeah, for a
Well-
while during COVID, they were like, everyone was working from home, and it was taking months and months to get the copyright approval. I think they're back to normal now, or almost back to normal.
Yep.
Fantastic. All right, guys, we're gonna have to wrap up because we're already past the hour and I want to respect everyone's time. Thank you so much for coming. It's been great fun. Expect an email from us and we're gonna set up a WhatsApp group. We're gonna have more roundtables. Tell your colleagues, friends that would benefit from this message. People like yourself, coaches, consultants, small business owners that need this kind of information. And let's create a community of people that get together, network, and share valuable information. Exactly. Bye-bye, everyone.